All right, let's talk about generative AI. Man, there's so much buzz, so much hype, it's honestly hard to know what's real anymore. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to see how actual businesses are using this tech to solve real-world problems right now.
Let's just kick things off with a number that's, well, it's pretty much impossible to wrap your head around. According to McKinsey, generative AI could add up to $4.4 trillion in value to the global economy. And get this, that's not a one-time thing, that's every single year.
To really put that in perspective for you, 4.4 trillion is more than the entire economy of the United Kingdom. Yeah, we're not talking about some small incremental improvement here. This is a massive, fundamental shift in how the global economy works. It's huge.
But you know, for all that mind-boggling potential, the idea of using AI in business isn't really that new. In fact, if you look at something like the supply chain, they've been one of the earliest adopters of this stuff for a long time.
I mean, this technology has been evolving for decades. Way back in the 90s, we had what you'd call perception AI. Think scanners that could read a shipping label. Then, around 2012, physical AI showed up, with all those smart warehouse robots. The generative AI we're all talking about now, that really started picking up steam around 2015. And now we're even getting into agentic AI that can act on its own. So, you see, this isn't some sudden revolution. It's just the next big step in a very long evolution.
Okay, but here's the reality check. For all the excitement and all this history, there's a number we absolutely have to talk about, and it's not a pretty one.
That's right. Gartner's data shows that a staggering 85% of AI projects in the supply chain just fail. Which leads to the billion-dollar question, right? If this tech is so incredibly powerful, why is it so darn hard to get right?
Well, the reasons are probably going to sound frustratingly familiar. It's kind of a classic playbook for failure. It usually starts with unclear goals. You know, having a cool piece of tech and then trying to find a problem for it. That leads to totally unrealistic expectations. Then you hit the technical wall. Bad data. The old saying is true. Garbage in, garbage out. But you know what the biggest reason is? It always comes down to the people. Without managing the human side of the change and having strong leadership, even the best tech in the world is just doomed. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some companies are totally nailing it. They're navigating these challenges and creating some incredible value. So let's look at 3 brilliant examples of how this is being done in the real world today.
First up, DHL. Now, anyone in e-commerce knows the last mile, that final step of getting a package from a local hub to your front door, is by far the most expensive and complicated part of the entire journey. We're talking up to 50% of the total shipping cost is wrapped up in just that final leg.
So, DHL's solution is something called dynamic routing. Their AI system is like the central command brain that's constantly watching everything in real time, traffic, weather, even new packages that pop up, and it adjusts driver routes on the fly. So imagine there's a big accident and traffic is gridlocked. Before the driver even knows it, the system has already found a faster way around, saving time, saving fuel, and making sure you still get your package on time. It's pretty amazing.
Next, let's talk about Walmart. Can you even imagine trying to manage the inventory for thousands of stores? Every single one has different products, different demand. It's just this unbelievably massive data puzzle. What Walmart does is called smart reallocation. Their AI is constantly monitoring sales data across the entire network. But it's not just looking backwards at what's been sold. It's predicting what will be sold, and it automatically starts moving stock between warehouses to get ahead of the demand. The result? Customers see fewer out-of-stock signs, and Walmart isn't wasting money on inventory that's just sitting in the wrong place.
All right, our third example is from Unilever. This is a giant company that works with hundreds and hundreds of suppliers. So when they need to buy something new, they might get hundreds of different proposals and quotes. Trying to sift through all that manually, it's a nightmare. Talk about finding a needle in a haystack.
So their solution is actually brilliantly simple. They took an idea that we're all pretty familiar with, using AI to screen resumes for a job opening, and they just applied it to their procurement process. I mean, think about it. Just like an AI can scan 500 resumes to find the top 10 candidates for a human to interview, Unilever's Gen AI scans hundreds of supplier quotes and surfaces the top 10 for their human experts to review. It lets their team focus their brainpower where it really matters. So all these examples, they're all pointing to a really fundamental shift. We're moving away from simple automation that just does things to a new kind of automation that can actually think. This is creating a whole new model for how we get work done.
The way to think about it is like this. On one side, you have the traditional stuff, robotic process automation, or RPA.
Let's call this the hands. It's awesome at doing the same repetitive task over and over based on strict rules. But on the other side, you've got these new LLM agents. Let's call this the brain. It's not based on rules, it's driven by goals. It can understand messy data, like an email, and it can adapt when things change.
So this isn't about the brain coming in and replacing the hands. Not at all. The most powerful, most effective approach is actually a hybrid one, where the brain and the hands work together. And here's how that looks in practice. The brain, that's the LLM agent, reads a complex request, maybe from an email. It actually understands the goal and plans out all the steps needed to get it done. Then, it acts like a manager and delegates all the boring, repetitive tasks like copy-pasting info into a spreadsheet to the RPA bots, the hands. And finally, the brain looks at the result, makes sure everything is correct, and decides what to do next. It's this perfect partnership between intelligence and execution.
Now, this hybrid model has some really profound implications. It's not just changing how companies work behind the scenes, it's fundamentally changing the very nature of work itself for all of us.
I mean, check this out. McKinsey estimates that the tech we have right now, including Gen AI, could automate activities that take up 60 to 70% of our time at work. That is a massive acceleration, and it's happening so fast because AI can finally understand natural language, which is, a huge part of pretty much every knowledge job.
So, as we all try to figure this out, there are 4 key lessons to keep in mind. First, and this is critical, human judgment is more important than ever. This is a tool, not a replacement for our intelligence. Second, these projects have to be collaborative. This isn't just an IT thing. Third, data quality is absolutely non-negotiable. It's the fuel for this whole engine. And finally, and maybe this is the most important one, you have to manage the people side of this change, focusing on retraining and evolving jobs, not just swapping out systems. And that really brings us to the final, crucial question. In a world where our automation has both a brain and hands, where it can reason and then execute, what does our work become? It's a question that really challenges us to stop focusing on the repetitive stuff and start leaning into what makes us uniquely human: our creativity, our critical thinking, and our strategic judgment.